Hello, it's for you. It's your mom calling. Hi, my name is Mr. Allen, and today I'd like to talk for a few minutes about the importance of silliness, which is what the banana phone is good for. Um, Over the years, as a special educator for special needs kids, especially those that are medically fragile, I have found that silliness works really well. Um, when trying to get to know and bridge a relationship with medically fragile special needs kids. For me, the situation over the years has come up where I um, I have to try to help visitors who come into our classroom, especially such as like music therapy interns who are college students who come in for their internship and they're very good musicians, but most of them have never been exposed or had the experience of being in front of a group of elementary special needs kids, and so they're not sure how they're supposed to react. So part of what I do is try to help explain to them how to best approach this situation. And often I try to say silliness will help. It will help a lot. Often what I do is I explain first why is silliness needed. Our students are often hesitant. They tend to hold back their true feelings, their personalities, their skills. Um, and there's a couple reasons why. They feel vulnerable. They often have limited vision, limited hearing, and limited movement or mobility. So this makes them in a kind of a vulnerable position compared to a visitor who's walking in. And another reason, um, often our kids have had many medical procedures since they were born. Strangers who have poked and prodded and often made their parents nervous. So people with white coats, so to speak. So our kids to visitors are very closed up sometimes when they first meet visitors. They're often very suspicious of visitors. Um, our children, when we have new like music interns come in, they're watching closely. They're watching the visitors. Um, you feel like you're always being observed, judged, and evaluated. Our students notice the tone of your voice a lot. They're trying to figure you out. They notice your emotions. They notice your pace and the speed of your movements, how fast you move around, how clumsy you moved around. I recommend clumsiness and simple movements. In general, they monitor also your consistent demeanor, how your mood is. Are you somebody that gets angry? Are you nervous? So this is common to because they're trying to figure you out. And with this knowledge in mind, um, I try to explain to the music therapist why playfulness and silliness is important. What can you do to break through those barriers of being judged and watched? How can you get through that, play music, and have an interaction? Because if you are able to use some silliness or some playfulness, you'll get a better response. Silliness, actually, in the long run, it will build better relationships. It'll help you build a relationship. It helps you to support and engage kids. It'll get you some reactions that are positive, some curiosity. It also helps build communication a whole lot. So, silliness, if you're able to do it in a simple way, it builds eye contact, it helps tracking, language will develop, laughter, focused attention, engagement, turn taking, choice making, and curiosity. Let me share just a couple of quick stories where, for me, being playful, being silly has helped a couple of students that were challenging. One of my students, probably 8 years old at the time, had been in my class for about a year and a half, and he never had made eye contact with me or anybody else. He was in his own little world. He would walk around, fascinated by the world, but he would go right by your face and not look at your eyes. Every now and then it looked like he was maybe just saw your eyes, but he would just take them right away, dart away, never make any eye contact. And for about a year and a half, I tried different ways of trying to interact with him. One day we were in the swimming pool at our school, and somebody had a big pair of oversized sunglasses, huge, big kind of clown ones. And I put those on, and I just happened to be right in front of him, and all of a sudden he looked at me, turned his head, looked at me again, and he looked into my eyes through the glasses. And all of a sudden our worlds met for the very, very first time. He looked at me and he smiled. It's almost like, wow, there you are. You're my teacher. And I was just stuck myself because I was surprised myself. So I'm not going to say that from that day forward he made eye contact all the time, but a lot more often he would find me out and he would look at me without those glasses. He would make more eye contact. So in that way, playfulness, trying something different, being creative, and even silly help provoke somebody to have a student have better eye contact. Another example of silliness, which is a kind of a common approach that I use. I had a student very high anxiety, in a wheelchair, hard to feed, but we would try every day to feed him by mouth, and super tense, super tight, hardly would open his mouth, nervous about everything that's going on. And so one day what I did, I tried something different. I took this spoon of food and I was going for his mouth, like I was going to give him a bite, and I accidentally put some on his nose, accidentally. And he looked at me and started laughing. He just dropped his mouth, other food that was in there kind of came out, and he looked at me like, you're supposed to be a teacher. You made a big mess. What are you doing? And so I did it again. I got loaded up and he's looking at me like, are you going to do the right thing? Or are you going to, and I did again. And so I went on the side of his face and made a little mess on the side of his face. He opened his mouth and he was laughing, but it broke the stress. That little boy from that day forward was much easier to feed. And I would teach that to an assistant. I said, play with him a little bit. Do the out of the ordinary. Be bumbly. Pick up his drink like you're going to give him a drink and pretend like you're going to drink it. He's going to look at you and go like, wait, that's mine. And pretty soon there's a dialogue going on and he's laughing. His anxiety was broke. Let me go down. So that's just a couple of quick stories. Sometimes, let me give you some more examples of how in the classroom for me, and I think parents who are listening to, you know this, you know how to play with your child, you know what makes them open up and be themselves. But sometimes it's the new people who are not experienced with being in front of medically fragile or severely disabled kids with limited vision or hearing. I pretend sometimes to be like I'm falling asleep at my desk in front of them. And they're all of a sudden looking around, and those that little boy come over here and poke me to wake me up. And then another little girl come over and wants to put a towel on me to cover me up. And then I snore, and then they all start laughing. So in those ways, we're just trying to build reactions and see what they'll do. Sometimes I'll pretend like I can't find a student and they're right in front of me, and I'll start calling out their name and, hey, have you seen so-and-so? I can't find him. And they're looking at me like, well, what? I'm right here. Why is he looking for me? And then they'll start patting their chest, right? And they can't even talk, but they're saying, I'm here, I'm right here. And I'm going, oh. And then I'll hear a voice from the outside, no, he's not in here. I said, I can't find him. Where is he? And then usually we get a little dialogue going just from the silliness of pretending like you can't see them and they're right in front of you. Also, I already showed the banana phone. I had one little girl who I was pretending to talk with her. And I said, oh, it's your mom. And she was nonverbal and she didn't talk, but sometimes she would vocalize just a little bit. And I said, oh, it's your mom. And I gave her the phone. And she looked at me and she gave it back. And then I said, oh, you would like to talk to her? Okay, she's right here. And this time, the next time she took it and she moved her lips and started, she wasn't talking, but she was making the motions. She was playing along with me. And as time went on, over the course of many months of playing around, she did vocalize more, talk more, play with me, interact with me more willing to try different things and to try talking if I was pushing her a little bit. So this phone seemed to work pretty good for some kids. Sometimes what I get a lot of fun from is pretending to put on the jacket or the coat or the backpack of one of the students, and it does not fit me very good. And they'll notice that. And the ones that are verbal and say, no, no, that's not yours, and they'll point out who that belongs to. And then I'll look pretty silly with the backpack half on and the coat halfway through, but it'll get the attention and it'll cause them to start realizing and making decisions and trying to get other people involved and laughing, and they'll trust me because I'm more childlike. Well, the real answer is that silliness works. It does, and that's what I try to share with music interns, visitors, people who don't have a whole lot of experience with medically fragile children. Um, in the end, it can help you with communication a whole lot. It'll start a relationship, long-term relationship, because students who are limited in the way they can speak or communicate, when they find somebody that they can relate to, they tend to look for you even more so that they can have a conversation. Even if it's through silliness, they will seek you out. And it builds trust. It builds trust. I think I have a quote here. It has been my experience that the child or student will trust you more when they realize that you, the adult, are capable of being silly or childlike yourself. It seems to come down to trust and understanding. And that's really the answer. Silliness just puts you in a different category. It puts you in so that they know that you can protect them. They know that you can stand up for them, but they also know that you are trustworthy because you know what it's like to be a child. You have an instinct inside you that is childlike, and they appreciate that. The silliness is something that they can lean on and look forward to and trust. So, in the future, don't forget to use your banana phone. It's always available. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.